Hello and welcome to...
Wait. Do you still remember the sign-off? Are you going to get it right this time?
I thought I had it. Now you just threw me off course.
You forgot your sign-off. Once again.
No. We drink and we watch things.
Yeah.
Right?
Stuff?
No, it's things.
Things. And we watch things.
Yes.
I watch stuff.
Yes, we do. All right.
We watch stuff or we watch
Are you going to let me do my thing or what?
I'm just trying to remember. Okay, my bad.
God, motherfucker.
Not going to make the cut? Is it not going to make the cut?
I don't know. I feel bad for the editor.
That's you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of our podcast where today we celebrate the 30th anniversary of one of the greatest, most funniest independent movies of all time, Clerks. I am your amazing, spectacular host with the most, Detective Artemis.
And I'm Journey.
And this is Drink to a Decade.
Cheers.
Cheers, bitch.
Clink.
Unnecessary, annoyingly mouth noises. Okay. Put that thing away.
Zip.
All right. So here we are, 30 years later.
30 fucking years.
1994. How old were you?
5?
5?
5? 4? 4 or 5?
Probably.
I can't do math.
Dang, you old as fuck.
I can't do math. Yeah, I'm getting there. Great. It looks gray in my hair now. Like,
I like how every episode with us, it's always about how I make fun of you for being old.
Yeah, while I look like I'm like 10 years younger than you.
I don't know who said all that.
Oh, yeah, I look great.
The delusion is strong with this one.
Yes.
The year is 1994. Well, it released in 94, but it was like maybe early 93, somewhere around that time. Kevin Smith, a aspiring director, wants to do a film. He does it with some friends. He sells a lot of his comic book collection to finance the movie. Maxed out his credit cards. His whole journey to make what was supposed to be kind of a movie about nothing became kind of a cult classic. Yeah. And I owe a lot to his style, his beautiful simplicity of things, because that's how I approach any sort of project I do, whether it's music or videos, or it's even like at the end of The Office, for those who haven't seen it, spoiler, I guess, but they're like, there's something beautiful in things that are ordinary. And I think that's absolutely true. It's cool to make something that's very focused and not doing so much. It's like, like when you're cooking or doing anything, it's better to master the basics than fail at the fancy. So with that said, he was absolutely one of the inspirations for me to do anything I want to do creatively. So that's kind of one of my early memories with him.
Honestly, like the only reason I know about Clerks is because you turned me around on it.
Yeah, okay, you're welcome.
That was our early friendship. That was you turning me around to like music and movies, and like you inspired a lot of like the stuff I got into. That was our beginning of our friendship. This movie kind of signs off on that.
Okay, so I have this movie to blame for being your friend.
Yeah,
God damn
basically. I'm ruining your memories. But yeah, you turned me around to this movie, and definitely one of my favorites.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm happy to be a hero for you in so many ways that you want to admit.
Yeah, not Kevin Smith. You're my hero.
Thank you.
To me, you directed it.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Anywho, enough.
Enough sappiness.
But my actual earliest memory, I watched it with our good friend and drummer bandmate, Edwin. We actually were just kind of after a practice or before a practice, we were just kind of channel surfing, and then he put this on, and it was the scene where they're talking about the Death Star and about how like the contractor, that whole bit.
Yeah.
And we kind of just couldn't look away. We just kind of kept watching it. From there we got really into it, and then we would just kind of keep watching it. And for so many years it was, it was kind of like, one of like our movies. It was this one and That Thing You Do. You ever see That Thing You Do?
I saw it a long time ago. It's been a
The
while.
the Wonders, the Oneaters, the one hit wonder band from like the 50s or 60s.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was like we were watching that and Clerks like all the time.
Uh-huh.
So that's my earliest memory is watching it with Edwin. So
Mhm.
it was really cool at the time, and even it gets better and better the more you watch it because at the time we
Mhm.
were like, 18, 19, so we didn't really understand some of the stuff, but it's just one of those things that just kind of age
Yeah.
like wine.
Yeah. It exposed you to so many other things that you didn't understand, like you said, and then now as adults you get it. It's like one of my childhood friends too that I haven't seen in forever. Like our thing was the Offspring. We loved listening to the Offspring, but honestly, we didn't understand more than half of their lyrics, but we loved singing it.
Right.
And then until you're an adult, you're like, oh, that's pretty fucked up. But I get it. Like it's and you loved it so much because there was a lot of cursing, there was a lot of like adult conversation. You're
Right.
like, I want to get it. I'm gonna pretend I get it, so I'm cool. Like, and that's what it felt like.
Yeah, definitely. And well, I mean, real quick though, what's one of your favorite Offspring songs or albums?
Ah, shit, dude. I don't remember all the names of the albums, but for sure, I think my favorite one was God damn it, I don't remember the other names.
I'll give you a little jump start. So for me, anything from Smash was great. So obviously, I Got to Get Away, Bad Habit, What Happened to You, Ixnay and the Ombre stuff. So All I Want, even a couple of conspiracy ones. So Want You Bad was cool.
Yeah, I used to love Pretty Fly for a White Guy. That's what it got me into things.
Okay.
But there was one specific song from Americana, and I gotta say, I think it was Americana. Americana was my favorite album.
Okay, that was a good one.
The one I really liked, and I can't remember. Oh, I think it was Pay the Man. The one that starts off with like that kind of like the guitar.
I actually haven't heard that. I haven't heard that song in forever. I know almost all the other songs. Like I know Americana. I know She's Got Issues. I know. I think Meaning of Life is on there.
Let's not get copyrighted. This song was my favorite song, "Pay the Man" by The Offspring, because it had that really relaxed, chill.
Oh, and then it just
intro,
picks up.
and then it picks up, and then yes, the drums come in, dun, 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 dun. I just loved it for some reason because it was so environmental. It really. I was like, man, I like the way these guys play, and that kind of inspired me to get into guitar.
Yeah, the way Noodles would play guitar, the way
Noodles.
he palm mutes, he was one of my inspirations for sure. And they're a California-based band. They're from Orange County.
That is right. Yeah, that is right.
Yep,
I completely forgot about that.
Well, Clerks.
And Clerks.
So going back to the indie classic, what are some of your favorite moments or scenes from the movie?
So, I am gonna bring back what you mentioned. So you and Edwin got into this movie, loved this movie. You turned me on to this movie and got into it. What turned me on to this movie was actually a song you wrote. It was at the end of a song, and I was learning it. You guys showed me the recorded version of it, Natural Disaster.
Oh yeah.
And so I heard it. I laughed my ass off because you guys put the soundbite in it, and I was like, "What is this?" And you're like, "Clerks, you've never watched it?" I'm like, "No, we watched it. I loved it. That scene became my favorite scene ever. And that's how I got sucked into it. And like,
sucked into it.
Can I play the soundbite? I have the song.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Who's gonna copyright it? Us.
Well, there we go. I'm gonna play the ending of the song.
And I totally forgot we added that at the end of this. This is like a recording from 2006. So this is.
No, wait. Go back.
Listen to that drum.
Yeah, he was a lot better at it. So we are. Oh no, where is it going? So it was around, I think, the 250 mark. Oh, here we go. So the band was called Singled Out, and this song is called Natural Disaster.
What? Something like 36? Lower your voice. Wait, what is that anyway? Something like 36? Does that include me?
37.
I'm 37?
in a row. That is my favorite scene by far.
100%. That's I was gonna mention that, but I mean, it felt like it was. I mean, it's probably like everyone's favorite. So it was good.
It was brilliant. It was so brilliant.
I think
I got a fun fact for later when it comes to that scene.
Okay, I can't wait. I think what really because it's already funny, but the final like cherry on top is where Willem's like in a row, and then it just gives you that hilarious visual, like a circus seal.
It's 37 dicks.
Yeah. So that one's good. I also I like that whole I won't say sequence, but that whole scene where like everything leading up to that part. So where they're talking about it and how he's like, oh, I want to do something, but I can't do it. Like he feels like he's stuck, which is pretty much like his whole theme is wanting to make change, but he feels like he can't. But I think one of my other favorite scenes is where it's kind of a quick thing. And it's not really a scene, but it's actually a kind of a funny detail.
Go for it.
So do you remember where they're talking about the jizz moppers and the customers?
Oh, yeah.
And the customer's like, I find this very offensive. And then if you notice, he has like a mop and paper towels in his
I
hand.
didn't notice it until last week when I watched it. I was like, wait, is that Windex? And
Yeah.
paper towels?
So he was a jizz mopper. So that was hilarious detail.
He was so offended because they were talking about him.
They probably seen him before.
They've seen him before.
But no, another one is the whole Chuli's gum thing where the guy is trying to turn people off of smoking and he puts that fake that long gun there or whatever and everyone's like freaking out. That whole thing, and then the guy behind him is like was he like, can I get a pack of cigarettes? He gets mad and throws at him. So that whole thing was really funny. Pretty much this movie is extremely dialogue heavy, which it'll becomes like Kevin Smith's trademark, like kind of like Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
But I find Kevin Smith's dialogue much more interesting.
More. Yeah. Quentin Tarantino, I will fall off after a while. But like even like when you've read Kevin Smith's comics, same thing. A lot of dialogue in it. But like he does pretty much do a good job if that's what you're into. There's some people that just period cannot do heavy dialogue.
Right. Yeah.
And Kevin Smith's not for them.
I don't know if you remember like 4 years ago where Ro and I actually got to interview Dante and and Veronica.
Yeah. I was jealous about that. And that was right after the sequel came out, right?
No, this is like 2020.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and I actually got to ask Brian O'Halloran, Dante, like about how him versus like Tarantino in terms like who's the better dialogue writer.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty funny. I'll probably splicing that clip, but he was pretty much in how Kevin Smith is probably just more focused, a little bit more verbose, as he said. But it was really cool to interview them. So that's kind of a little thing I hold close to. I was privileged and lucky enough to get to interview him, so that was really cool for me.
Oh shit, yeah. What was like? Were they just randomly doing
This
interviews, or was this like?
This was for
something?
I forgot what the name of the event that hashtag was helping out with, but it was like one of those. I think it was like a virtual thing or something.
Okay, but it was just them making an appearance. No
Yeah,
anniversary thing.
No, it was just them kind of for like a it was a panel basically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So there's that.
That's dope though.
Any moments or things you didn't really like so much, like a least favorite moment?
I really had to think about it and like when watching the whole movie over again. And I think the one scene that I would say was the weakest and honestly didn't need to belong. Like it really could have chopped it out and nobody would have ever missed it, was the funeral scene. Like honestly, like they talked about some chick dying.
Mm-hmm.
They went over there. They didn't show what happened in the funeral.
We just had the little exterior shot and the sound effects.
And then running out. And I was like, that was completely pointless. Like this could really not have been in the movie. And it still would have been spectacularly great. It would not have phased this movie whatsoever.
Yeah, I think it's definitely kind of one of the least interesting parts. But actually, the moment before they get there, the whole car ride, where he's talking about how his cousin broke his neck trying to suck his own dick.
That was actually kind of
that's the only kind of thing I really liked about that whole scene was that dialogue exchange. That was funny.
Yeah.
But the girl they mentioned whose funeral it was, her name was I think Julie Dwyer. She was referenced in Mallrats, And
Really?
yes, so before the MCU, we had Kevin Smith doing his View Askew shared universe. So
Yeah.
he kind of did it first, and a bunch of like a handful of his movies are like interconnected like that. And
Because of Jay and Silent Bob.
That too, yeah.
And that's how you definitely knew that it was connected.
For sure. And in Mallrats, they mentioned how she died. I think it was like the day before that movie takes place. So I think Mallrats took place on Friday, and then Clerks took place on Saturday.
Really?
So they're like days apart, really.
Oh shit! I need to rewatch it. I haven't seen Mallrats in years.
Right. There's no like character jumps from movies to movies unless it's Jay or Silent Bob who are the anchor points to let you know that we're all connected. But it's mostly just a bunch of name drops.
Name drops.
So if you pay attention to those, then you'll hear them pull up again, like in Chasing Amy and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
That's dope. I gotta rewatch it. But yeah, no, I feel like that was the weakest scene, but I mean, apart from everything else, it's like I loved. Like it was all fantastic. What's the next thing? Wait, what about you? Like, so what was your?
I kind of agreed with you on that.
Because it's kind of hard to like pick apart your favorite movie.
Because I love like almost everything about it, and it's and the runtime is awesome too. It's like 90 minutes, so for me that's pretty cool. I don't really have an issue with that. But it's also a very quotable movie. Yeah, I find myself saying these quotes like almost all the time.
In a row?
Yeah. Has nothing to do with him. Just randomly saying in a row. And no one gets it as I laugh to myself.
And that's all that matters. You just laugh at yourself. We got to be our biggest fan. Like, honestly.
For sure. Pretty much everything they do in this movie, like where they play hockey on the rooftop when it was closed. And then I'm always saying, I'm not even supposed to be here today. I say that a lot.
That's the best one to say when you're at work. I'm not even supposed to be here today. But like, you're clearly scheduled. Stop saying that.
Shut up.
Shut up.
But some pretty cool trivia here, though.
Well, let's get into this.
Well, you said you had a pretty good one with the 37. So did you want to kind of take us with that?
Yes. So my favorite scene, and honestly was everybody's favorite scene. So let's see. Let me see if I could get the specifics on it. I don't think I wrote it, but basically when they were pitching this movie for distribution, and they were reading the script for it, the person who was like in charge of like reading through the script and deciding, hey, this is good enough, like they got to that scene, they laughed so hard that they stopped reading the script, went up to their boss and was like, here, fuck the rest of the script, just read this one scene. They read that scene. That guy started cracking his ass off, and he's like, distribution. That scene is what got them the green light on distribution.
Holy shit. Then he had to like finish the story. It was just that part right there.
That was it. That was all they needed for distribution.
Yeah, because like at the time you weren't really seeing movies that had that sort of graphic dialogue, which pretty much got the movie almost an NC-17 rating, even though there was no boobs or anything like that. It was just the dialogue. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And like and it makes sense because it's my favorite. It's quotable. It's hilarious. It's probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen in a movie that I can think of. Right.
And then also 37 is a Kevin Smith trademark. You kind of tend to see that number all over the place. So 37. And I think Kevin Smith's or Silent Bob's jersey at multiple times is 37. So 37. That's like it's his little motif in his movies.
Okay.
But did you ever hear about the alternate ending?
I barely heard about it when I was rewatching the movie, and I had to go on YouTube and look for it because I had no idea about it. And I'm glad they did change it.
Right, because Kevin Smith didn't really know how to end the movie, so he's like, fuck it, let's just have him get shot.
Yeah, I mean,
and
such a convenience store thing to happen.
Yeah, I'm not even supposed to be here today, and then he gets shot.
The morbid way of going through it, which is weird because like another thing that I read about, another fun fact is that he wrote the whole script and the story based off of the Divine Comedy.
Yes.
And that's why there's different chapters in it, and they're all supposed to represent each circle of hell.
Yeah, 9 specifically.
9 specifically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be based on the Divine Comedy. So usually what why that ending wouldn't have worked is that in the ending of the Divine Comedy, Dante finds salvation. Also, which is another reason why he named the character Dante.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but he was supposed to find salvation in heaven with Beatrice. Beatrice was supposed to be his angel, his perfect woman, was supposed to help him find salvation. So if he would have gotten shot at the end of the movie, it's like that kind of would have ruined the whole Divine Comedy based on Divine Comedy structure.
Now, I'm an illiterate fool. I don't really read books unless it has pictures and little speech bubbles in there. So I've never read the Divine Comedy.
It's actually like an Italian poem, I think.
Mamma mia!
But it's supposed to be the greatest pieces of literature ever written ever.
I can't even spell literature.
Oh.
Well, we're definitely going to talk about how things didn't make sense character-wise when we get to the sequels, which I guess we can segue into that.
But I have so much more facts.
Go ahead. Fire away.
Fire away. All right.
I'm going to keep drinking.
Fire away. Okay, so here we go. I really went out because there was so much cool shit about this. And also it segues to the sequel stuff because that's what part 3 does.
True.
So one of the things was originally Kevin Smith wanted to play Randall. He wrote Randall to be himself.
That's right. That's why he had all the best lines.
Exactly. But then he ended up writing his own thing. And also he originally was, when he was Silent Bob, he was supposed to be silent for the whole movie.
Time.
But the one scene he does talk was because Jason Mewes was too shy and couldn't deliver the line. So he's like, fuck it, I'll talk.
Oh, he stepped in.
He stepped in and delivered the line.
That's cool because it became the whole Silent Bob trademark where he doesn't talk until the end, where he gives you the whole moral or the lesson of the movie.
The big dime of everything. It was great. And it's weird because you have such an aggressive, loudmouth character, and in reality, Jason Mewes is so shy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like you wouldn't think that.
Yeah, and it turns out he really was with the whole dancing scene, which we'll probably talk in the sequel.
Yeah.
And then another thing about his character that I loved. Oh shit! You know, there was one fact that they brought up during a scene in the movie that they brought up that I thought about before, and they kind of made it more obvious. Was why the reason everything is 99 cents, like $5.99.
Oh yeah, I remember he asked that question. He's like, that's weird.
I always assumed that it was to make prices look lower than they actually are.
It's not. I like a psychology thing, right? Like, oh, it's not $50, it's $49.99.
Yeah, and that's what I originally thought. And this movie actually made the other real reason, which was because when it's 99 cents, it forces the cashier to open the register and log in the buy
and not like steal it
and steal the cash.
Is that way a fucking coin still in 2024?
Yeah, it was to force cashiers from not stealing and logging in the purchase. And I did not know that.
I had no idea.
And let's see, I don't want to also just blow up with nothing but
go ahead, man. We got
facts.
nothing but time.
The milkmaid.
Oh, that was his mom.
That was Kevin Smith's mom. I did not know that. Until
and at the end of part 3, it's his daughter.
Really?
I'm like 98% sure.
I don't remember that part.
And then in part 2, where Dante's doing his little drive around and he sees a little girl at the restaurant, that was also Kevin Smith's daughter, like who waves to him and while he's in the car.
Oh,
that was Harley Quinn Smith.
Let's see. What reason was the movie in black and white? I'm gonna turn this into like actual trivia. What was the reason? What is the reason why this movie was black and white?
Well, it was mostly because of production reasons. It was expensive, and then they were doing different types of lighting, which would make post production a nightmare. But Kevin Smith recently said something about how he wants to make you feel like you're watching it through like a surveillance camera.
I read that was actually a fan theory. And he accepted the fan theory, but that wasn't his original concept. But he likes that fan theory so much, he's like,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. From I mean, that's definitely one way to look at it. And aside from the obvious, like we didn't have enough money, but I mean, I think it works better that way.
Absolutely. There is also one more reason too that it was shot in black and white.
I don't know.
So, let me rephrase it. There was also here we go. What reason were the shutters closed all the time?
Oh, because that was the place that Kevin Smith actually worked, so they only had time to shoot it at nighttime.
Yeah, there you
right?
go. Yes.
Okay.
And that's why it made it easier for it to be in black and white, because they can get away with the fact that it was actually nighttime the whole entire time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So that was cool to how they were like, hey, we want to pass this off. Let's say gum in the lock. Genius, right?
pretty brilliant.
Yeah. And so I think that's my. Oh, so originally he wanted to call the movie Inconvenience.
Okay.
And then he changed it to Rude Clerks, and then to just Clerks.
What do you think about that?
I'm glad that it was Clerks.
Yeah, I think it just plays off on the again going back to the simplicity of everything.
Yeah, the simplicity, and that's true, and I really love all that. But yeah, that's all my fun facts.
Well, thank you. This from now on, this is gonna be your job just to pull up the fun facts about the movie.
Oh yeah, and I could turn it into actual trivia that you have to answer
Yeah, there we go. See,
love
we're
this.
we're thinking about things on the spot.
on the spot.
That's what we do. We build off each other. Iron sharpens iron.
Let's talk about sequels. Let's go, because definitely I'm so
Sequel
glad there
talk.
really
Sequel
was.
talk. All right. So 2006, Clerks 2 comes out,
mm-hmm.
and do you remember watching that when it came out?
I watched it only once, and I didn't watch it when it first came out, but I did watch it once, and I remember I loved it, and the only thing that I remember about that movie is that there was a donkey show. And
Yes.
I can't look away. But that's it. Since then I haven't watched the movie again, and I've been wanting to watch it again, but it hasn't popped up on streaming platforms where I'm like, hey, Clerks 2, let me watch it. So I really do need to rewatch that movie again.
In my professionally amateur opinion, I think it is the best one of all of them.
Really?
Just because it has that cool beginning where it starts off in black and white, and then there's a fire and it turns into color. Like there's something disrupting his world.
His world. Oh,
And then
okay.
at the end of the movie, where everything is okay, it goes back to black and white.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was a
okay.
really cool, like, artistic, symbolism kind of touch to it. I thought that was
Oh.
pretty brilliant.
Kind of like the black and white, that your life is so monotonous that it's just black and white, that it turns into color because of all the chaos that has been presented. And then once everything goes back to normal, it's back to monotony. Like,
And it's kind of ironic, too,
Yeah.
because, monotony and boring is black and white, and color gives
Mono,
you,
yeah.
life and changes. But for them, it was the opposite.
mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really cool. That's
Yeah.
probably my favorite thing about Clerks, too, is just those little details that might kind of flow over. Well, it was pretty obvious to pick up, but I think it was
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, because the thing about Dante is like he just doesn't like change. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think this one actually made the characters feel a little more three-dimensional. We get more into Dante's life and how he continues to be a cheater because he cheated on his fiance in this one, like he cheated on his girl in the first movie.
yeah,
So Dante's kind of a dick.
yeah. Wait, who was engaged to?
He was engaged to that girl who had his whole life mapped out for him. The longer who was actually Kevin Smith's real wife. I don't know if they're still together, but at that time they were married.
Mm-hmm. Harley Quinn's mom.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that. I need to rewatch the movie because I don't remember that part of the movie.
The whole point of that movie
Yeah.
was, do you choose to, be miserable but have an easy life, or have a hard life but have things that make you happy about it? So that's why he stayed with Rosario Dawson's character. He stayed with Randall because,
Yeah.
that just, you gotta follow your heart sometimes. And if he would have did that, he would have just kind of followed his brain. And it's true, man. Like, you really gotta sit down and think, what is it that makes you happy?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
it's things that we take for granted sometimes, but it was, again, just a very simple message, very simple theme, and it just works.
Yeah. I would say that Kevin Smith's just always been good at delivering the fucking message.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And then we finally see Dante have his happy ending. He's with Rebecca. She is with child. They buy the quick stop. Everything's going good. And they introduce Elias, who I thought was a funny character with the whole Lord of the Rings prequel argument.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And then there's the donkey show.
That's
Kinky
what
Kelly and the sexy stud.
That's what I do remember.
This donkey's a dude. No.
So-
He's like, no, I'm the sexy stud. That's Kelly. But Kelly's a girl's name. Kelly could be a guy's name too. Hey.
It can. And you see, I got to rewatch the movie because a lot of that I don't remember. I don't remember how the movie ends. I just remember that there was a donkey show and Rosario Dawson just being like, I can't look away. And I'm like, I get that. I understand. I wouldn't be able to look away either.
Yeah, you never go asked him out. And that was another
So-
hilarious thing that went around.
So explain how part 2 goes into part 3, because I did watch part 3 recently, and part 3 felt like a full circle because it was basically the BTS of how Clerks 1 was made. So it felt like a beautiful full circle.
Okay.
Meta.
It definitely was meta.
So you said that she was with child, except in the movie.
So if you well before I get into Clerks 2, I think Clerks 2 had, for me, in my opinion, the better full circle, because they start off with a
Really?
quick stop, then they went to all these changes and then ended back in the quick stop, but they're different. They're owners now. They've got this new knowledge. They have all these new things they're bringing with them. So when Clerks 3 comes around, it just sort of undoes all of that, because if you notice when they say Becky, they show her headstone that she died in 2006. She got hit by a drunk driver or something while she was pregnant.
While she was pregnant.
So that ending, those like last shots we see with Dante Rando and Becky, all together, she was probably hit by that car maybe the same day, days later, not even like a long time. So
Oh shit.
that beautiful ending, that sweet ending, is only there for a very short time before Dante's life goes straight back to hell. And in
Yeah.
this movie, he's years have passed. He's broken. He's haunted by his wife, who couldn't be more in the movie, because we're at this point, Rosario Dawson's a very expensive actor, so they
Yeah.
probably didn't want to do all that.
Yeah.
And you kind of ask yourself, like, whose movie is this? Because part 1, it's Dante's. Part 2, it's a little balanced, but it's still Dante's. But in this one, it's more of Randall's movie,
It's more random.
and
Yeah.
Dante's kind of the side character. And it plays off where how in real life Kevin Smith had a heart attack, so
Yeah.
he was doing that whole thing, and
reflection on life, and
yeah, so it was definitely a little more emotional in that sense, because we
Very.
sit down, we think about our friends, like, fuck, man, like, I've been kind of a crappy friend. What if you die? So it does work to an extent, but for trilogy's sake, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it fits. Like, I think maybe, what if Randall died and Dante wanted to finish Randall's movie for him, but then it kind of becomes like Zack and Miri, where they start a movie and then they finish it later.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it just feels like that not everything has to be a trilogy. But going back to what I asked, whose movie is it? It's Kevin Smith's movie.
Yes. That's
All these
absolutely
movies
true.
are pretty much about him.
him, and that's why I felt like a full circle, because this was him telling about the history of Clerks 2, and I mean Clerks, the first Clerks, and then up to the point of him having the heart attack, realizing everything, and that's why I truly loved the post credit that he put in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that one was deep, because he brings back one of the quotes that he says in the first movie, which was, this job would be pretty great if it wasn't for the fucking customer.
I say that every day.
Yeah, and so during the post credit scene, when Kevin Smith's talking about that quote, he's like, yeah, this is how I ended the movie, but if I would have truly gone out of the way and added some extra scenes, I would have added a point where Randall became a famous director, basically everything that happened to me in real life. And he was like, I want to go back to that quote that I mentioned, which is that this job would be great if it was for the fucking customers. It's like the quote would now be different. It would be, this job is great because of the fucking customers.
Yeah, that'd have been kind of cool too.
Yeah,
But I don't think in real life it'll ever be like that.
Well, it depends on what it is.
That's
man.
true. That's
'Cause-
true.
Because you gotta admit, as creators, a lot of the time, like we do what we do because we have such a great audience. Like, remember Kid Critic? Like, love that kid. And
Yeah, he's like-
he really inspired and motivated.
Yeah,
us to
he's
keep
an
doing
adult
stuff.
now, dude.
He's an adult doing adult
We've
things. and
watched
I'm
him grow.
proud
He's
of him.
like our surrogate son.
I'm so proud of that kid. And so, yeah, same thing. He kind of made us doing the channel, like,
Yeah.
and along with a bunch of other, people that used to comment on our stuff regularly. Like, we really appreciated it. So, yeah, other jobs, fuck those customers. But if this actually became a full-time job for us, we would have done it because of the customers.
You know, that's a very heartfelt speech, and for just a moment, you inspired me to want to do this again full time. But it was just a moment.
Well, just a moment.
Now
Well,
it's
what
just
is it?
back to like fun hobbies and hanging out with friends and drinking and doing illicit drugs.
Yeah, we could do much more of that anytime.
Word up.
But yeah, so Clerks 3, I loved it. And how would you feel if there was an announcement tomorrow that there was a Clerks 4?
I'd be annoyed and I'd watch it.
Exactly, same here. Like, because the only reason Clerks 3 happened was because it was a fan funded project, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, from those really. Okay, I'm sorry. I personally feel like they were shady, but there was that fan company. I forgot. It starts with an M.
I don't even remember this actually.
It was just this crowdfunding company they were all responsible for this one and some other movies, but like it just feels shady. It's just asking for people for money for potential projects that might come out.
Nothing guaranteed. Just like, hey, you never know. We could do this space movie or make it a space porn.
Yeah, and you give us a bunch of money and you own a very small piece of it, but don't get any money back.
Money. Well, okay. How would you rank the Clerks trilogy?
I need a rewatch part 2, but 1, 2, 3.
But like as a and 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3 is the way I rank it. Like it's because I need a rewatch 2. So because maybe if I did, now is like an older, experienced, wiser journey.
Yeah,
I would probably rank 2.
I would love your modern take on Clerks 2.
Yeah,
you had weeks to watch it, but you know that's fine.
It's not on any streaming platform, and I don't want to pay for it.
You are a former pirate like myself. This is not an issue.
Yeah,
I've seen your hard drive.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're right. I have no excuse.
All good, but at least you've seen it. So
yeah, I got to rewatch it, but definitely. But for right now, I'm still ranking it 1, 2, 3 because mostly for the fact just personal. Like Clerks 1 is still number 1 probably for anything because it even to this day it still inspires me to want to be a filmmaker and be a creator, and that also makes. Like I don't look up or admire a lot of celebrities or people in general. Like I feel like everybody's got their flaw. I look up more at their work.
Right.
But there's 2 people I actually do look up and admire, and that's Kevin Smith and Guillermo del Toro.
GDT. And
those 2 people, and like I said, I don't like looking up because there are always disappointments, people that you're like, hey, they're great, and it turns out they're like fucking pedophiles. Like Kevin Smith and Guillermo del Toro, they're not like that.
No freak offs there.
They're safe people to admire in my book, so that's why for them I look up to them and no one else. And so yeah, Kevin Smith to this day, I'm like, I love how you took the risk, jumped into your passion and the thing that you wanted to make your purpose, jumped into it, made your film. And the thing is, when he made Clerks 1, he was like, that's why he was in it. Because he's like, in case I blew my load on this, sold all my comic books, didn't work out and I failed, at least I can see my fucking face in this movie and be like, there I am. I did it. And I'm like, fuck, I'm gotta do my film this year. Like I just it fuels me, it inspires me,
and that's good. That's good, man.
So that's why it's still number 1 on me, and it's still also in like my top 10 favorite movies of all time.
That is an excellent argument to have Clerks 2 as number 1 in your ranking.
Clerks 1.
I'm sorry, did I just spoil my list? Anywho, and yes, Clerks.
Yeah. So yours, I'm guessing it's 2, 1, 3.
Clerks 5 in space.
Wait, what about the cartoon? You were telling me I haven't seen the cartoon.
Before I get to the cartoon, which I did not forget about.
Okay.
My ranking is 2, 1, and then
the cartoon,
and then 3. Just because for me, a good sequel should really take characters who we loved in the first movie and then push them to different scenarios and just make them more 3D, strengthen them out. I mean, that's why Empire was so good, because New Hope laid the brilliant foundation, and then Empire, that gets put back. You know, the usual cliche sequel talk, you know, Aliens is better, you know, helped Aliens. And then you got Dark Knight and Batman Begins and Terminator 2. And then you got Breakin', and then Breakin' 2, The Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But yes, that's my ranking. And the Clerks cartoon, dude, it was only like 6 or 4 some even number of episodes, less than 10.
20-minute episode.
20-minute episode. It was on ABC,
Really?
and it
Mhm.
was pretty fucking funny.
Okay.
There was a bit
Done by Kevin Smith?
yes,
Okay.
everyone's back there. It feels cartoony, but it also makes sense for these characters to be in that world, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And since it was a cartoon on ABC, they couldn't do things like have Jay and Silent Bob sell weed. So what they did in the show is they sold fireworks to kids, which was funny, and it makes it even more cartoony. So it just works on so many levels.
I'm gonna sell you fireworks.
Yeah. So, and then there's a
Okay.
bunch of hilarious lines in it. I still say some of those. Like, there's a part where they build like a new tower next to the Quick Stop, and Jay and Silent Bob were like, "Oh, we quit." And then Randall's like, "You never worked here," and he's like, "Not anymore. We don't." And then they go over there, or they're having a trial where I think where Jay is trying to sue them for he slips in the store, and then Randall's like, "I call George Lucas to the podium," and he
Wow.
starts grilling George Lucas on plot holes, and then one of the dudes is like, I think one of the attorneys is like, "But pod racing was cool."
It was cool.
So
It really was.
yeah, there's just moments like that where it's absolutely worth a watch. I think it's hilarious. It's like a Simpsons and kind of Family Guy humor mix, if that makes
Ooh.
sense. Like it's pretty smart, and it's also kind of stupid at times, but like
Yeah.
really funny stupid.
All right, I definitely gotta look it up. I'm probably gonna have to pirate it because I don't know if it's on anything. $30 on Prime Video.
$30 to buy? There's no way you should buy it. I love it. I would not pay $30 to buy it.
Just says it says rent or buy for $24.99.
Damn. To the Pirate Bay we go.
Pirate Bay we go. Well, I've been doing other stuff apart from Pirate Bay.
Well, never mind.
Yeah. 'Cause I heard those aren't safe seas anymore. But yeah, I'm gonna I'll check it out. That, and I need to rewatch Clerks too.
Absolutely recommend it. Now, I guess we can wrap this up by asking the $1 million question. In your opinion, has this movie aged well?
So, when you know all the behind the scenes facts and stuff like that we've talked about, and especially how I just mentioned that it's great for inspiring filmmakers, I definitely feel like the movie itself does hold up, because if you've ever worked in like the service industry, this movie is hands down relatable. And you're in the service industry, you run into the most weirdest people. And you just get fed up. You try to be polite, and then you snap on a couple of them, and like it's relatable because there's those weirdest situations. If you're in the service industry, and you'll just sit there watching and be like, "Fuck, I don't want to say that in real life. I wish I could treat a customer just like that." It's like, I want to be like Randall, like, fuck these guys. And I feel like that's still relatable today because people don't change. They're still fucking crazy. Everyone.
Yeah, terrible customers is a tale as old as time.
Yeah, this job would be great if it wasn't for the fucking customers.
I'm gonna get that tattooed across my stomach.
Yeah, I can buy a tattoo machine on Amazon for $40.
I'm not sure if I trust you with needles.
Are you sure?
Well,
Have I ever
sober me, no. Drunk me, yeah, sure, why not? Let's do
Okay,
it.
cool. All right, we're drinking right now.
Hey, I'm not drunk yet, okay? I can still. No, I can't. Okay,
It won't hurt.
fine. But
Not
I picked.
after-
I picked
Not
a
after
needle.
half a bottle of whiskey.
Or you can like pour it on the wound, and then I drink from that bottle.
I think that only works with like vodka. I think you're not supposed to pour whiskey on wounds.
Okay, so because one
I
time
think.
I poured a thing of whiskey on my, I think it was my hand. I don't know, I busted open.
And
And then
is
I
that why there's some really deep scars on it?
Well, emotional scars, and then there's also I drank the whiskey that I poured on my hand that had blood on it. So like I drank my blood and my whiskey off my hand.
You're such a badass. It turns me on.
Is that like unhygienic? Because it's my blood, and
no,
the
I think-
whiskey
I
sterilizes
think
it,
it's
and I
like-
drank the whiskey.
It's fucking sexy.
Am I like a self vampire?
Damn, relax, Woody Harrelson.
I'll give you a Woody. Just kidding. That story's false. But in my head canon, it is.
In head canon, yeah. I agree.
Now,
But yeah, I seriously, I feel like it holds up great to this day. Yeah.
I 100% agree. For me, I think this or a reason why this movie holds up so well is that if you look beyond the hilarious scenes of dialogue and stuff like that, I think it really speaks on the feelings of failure that are put on us by the pressures of social expectations and the depression and anxiety that comes with it. And for that, I can resonate with that. You know,
Mhm.
you're in your job and then you see people who are just much more successful, or sometimes they're younger than you or your age. You're like, that should be me. What am I doing here? But then you kind of feel like you can't do anything because you don't have the tools. But change is in us. We just have to want to do it and not just kind of, you know, mope about it. It's super cliche
Yeah.
bumper sticker stuff, but I mean, it is true.
No, it is true. I've been binging the crap out of self-help books lately and movies.
Listen,
and
I
stuff like
can
that.
can.
And I
This is
get
not
it.
about you and your
get it.
fucking mental health, okay?
But
I have a thought going on right now.
I know, and I'm agreeing.
Just wait, okay? God damn it. I love how Randall represents change and chaos while Dante represents structure and authority. So I think in that sense, they really complement each other. And like they see in the movie that they are each other's yin and yang.
Am I Randall and you're Dante?
I don't know, man. I think do you like structure? I think you're more like I think you're more of a controlled chaos.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
I agree.
I
I
mean,
agree.
you're not as bad as Randall, because Randall was just a dick the whole time. He kept fucking up Dante's life by doing all these things, thinking that it would make his friend like, you know, do good. But in the end, it just kind of fucked him over. But at the same time, he was that catalyst for Dante to make those changes.
Yeah.
If he didn't do the donkey show, he probably would have went to his fiance and had that miserable life.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
Sure.
I guess there is a method to the madness, but at what cost?
At what cost? Yeah, no, I think it's definitely chaos helps change. Like it helps change, but you gotta and sometimes change comes from outside stuff. Like,
Change
but
has
you
to
have
come
accept
from
it.
within.
But you have to accept it though. 'Cause-
Embrace change, like the scrolls say.
absolutely.
Well,
Wow.
I think that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. Are there any last words you'd like to say for Clerks?
Love it. Oh, I read somewhere that I forgot what company it is, but maybe New York Times. But there's a list of the most have to watch movies in the century, and it's in the top 5.
Top 5
Top 5.
movies of the century?
Yeah, that
Clerks is in top 5?
Must watch.
Top 5.
Like when it comes to like movies that you cannot miss that come to important in film, like it's on the top 5 of that list. I forgot who made the list. You know, everybody's making goddamn list, but it was a noticeable name, and they were like, yeah, we have the top 100 movies that of the past century that need to be a must watch.
Okay.
It was in the top, like, not top 5. I think I'm on just 10. Definitely top 10. I don't think it was top 5.
Yeah,
They had to be
I
top 10.
love Clerks, but there's no way.
But because it has like a very important like mark in history, and I agree with that. I feel like it really does.
Yeah, I definitely would recommend it to somebody to watch if they it's also a good
As a
movie
must
to like
watch.
kind of have in the background too.
Yeah.
Like a passive watch kind of thing, because you don't really need to see what's going on. You can hear it.
Just
You
listen.
can just listen
Yeah,
to it.
absolutely. I agree with that too.
It could be like a bedtime story.
yeah. 36
Good night, Mom. And then you hear background 37 dicks in a row.
in a row.
Well, that is going to wrap it up for us this time. Happy 30th anniversary to the great Clerks, and congratulations, Kevin Smith, on being an inspiration to folks like Journey and myself. We drink to that. No, wait, no. Damn it. I did fuck with the sign off.
Always.
Wait, hang on. Okay, I got it. Once again, I am Detective Artemis.
And I'm Journey.
No.
Still can't get it.
So this, thank you.
You're not allowed to sign off.
Okay, so thank you guys for watching and or listening to us. Make sure you hit a thumbs up, subscribe, or just hang out, leave a comment, tell us what we missed, some of your favorite parts, and tell me why we keep making these terrible running gags. Is gag with an E at the end? Or is it GAG? It's GAG.
GAG.
Gauge. Okay.
God.
See, I think of Gage, and I think of fucking Pet Cemetery, where the little kid Gage.
Yeah.
again. His little fucking shoe flying in the air. Oh, it's so horrible. So horrible. Well, once again, I am Detective Artemis.
And is this the second time we're signing off? And I'm Journey.
And we drink and we watch things.